Why you feel everything so deeply, and what it says about your nervous system. Why does this hit me so hard? Let me start with a moment you probably know well. You're replaying a conversation from earlier today. Something small, a tone shift, a look, a pause that lasted half a second too long. And hours later, it's still in your body. Your chest feels tight. Your thoughts are looping. You're wondering if you said too much, or not enough, or the wrong thing entirely. Meanwhile, someone else had the same conversation and moved on instantly. And you're left thinking, why do I feel everything so deeply? What is wrong with me? Why can't I just let things go like other people do? Here's the misconception I want to gently challenge right away. Feeling deeply is not a personality flaw. It's not weakness, and it's definitely not a lack of resilience. In many cases, it's a nervous system difference. And once you understand what's actually happening under the hood, biologically, psychologically, neurologically, your entire relationship with your emotions can change.
In this video, we're going to talk about why your reactions feel intense before you even have time to think, what emotional depth really says about your nervous system, and how to work with this sensitivity instead of fighting it. Not to fix you, but to help you regulate, protect your energy, and stop turning your depth into self-criticism. Let's get into it.
Part 1. The reframe. It's not that you feel too much, it's that you process deeply. Here's the reframe that changes everything. You don't just feel more, you process more. Think of your nervous system like a sound system. Some people have the volume turned way down. Others have the bass boosted, surround sound on, and every frequency dialed up. Neither is better, but they create very different experiences of the same environment. If you feel everything deeply, your nervous system is likely highly responsive, highly perceptive, and highly tuned to emotional and relational cues. This includes tone of voice, facial microexpressions, emotional shifts in a room, subtle changes in social dynamics, even your own internal sensations. So while others are skimming the surface of experience, you're scuba diving. And that depth has a cost, because when your system takes in more data, it also has more to regulate.
Part 2. Mechanism explanation. What's actually happening in your nervous system? Let's slow this down and make it concrete. 1. A more reactive nervous system. At the core of this is something called nervous system reactivity. Your autonomic nervous system, especially the sympathetic or activation and parasympathetic or calming branches, decides how strongly you respond to stimuli. If you feel things deeply, your system tends to activate quickly, stay activated longer, and take more time to return to baseline. That means emotions rise fast, they feel intense in the body, and they linger. This isn't drama, it's physiology. 2. The amygdala prefrontal timing gap. Here's another key piece. The amygdala, your brain's threat and relevance detector, often fires before your logical brain catches up. So you don't think your way into emotion. You feel it first. Then you try to explain it. By the time your rational mind arrives with, hey, this might not be a big deal, your body is already convinced something matters. A lot. 3. Interoception. You feel your inner world more clearly. Many emotionally deep people have high interoceptive awareness. That's your ability to sense internal signals, heart rate, muscle tension, breath changes, emotional shifts. So when sadness, anxiety, or excitement shows up, you don't just notice it, you feel it everywhere. Your stomach, your chest, your throat. It's like living with high-definition internal sensors, which is powerful and overwhelming. Part 3. Why this shows up so early.
temperament, not trauma, most of the time. Important point here. For many people, this depth shows up early in life. You were the kid who felt criticism deeply, needed time alone to decompress, got emotionally overwhelmed by loud environments, cared intensely about fairness, meaning, or connection. This is often linked to temperament, the biologically influenced baseline of your nervous system. Yes, life experiences can amplify this. Yes, trauma can intensify sensitivity. But for many people, this depth existed before anything went wrong. Which means you're not broken, you're not regressed, you're not failing at adulthood. You're operating with a system that was always tuned this way.
Part 4. Why modern life makes this 10x harder. Here's where things get tricky. Your nervous system evolved for slower rhythms, fewer stimuli, smaller social circles, clearer signals of safety and danger. Modern life gives you constant notifications, emotional labor at work, social ambiguity, chronic pressure to perform, and very little recovery time. So if you feel deeply, you're basically running a high-performance engine in an environment with no cooling system. Of course you're overwhelmed. It's not because you're weak, it's because your system never gets to fully settle.
Part 5. Practical Strategies. How to live well with a deep-feeling nervous system. Now let's talk about what actually helps. Not platitudes, not just toughen up. Real nervous system-informed tools. Tool 1. Name sensation before story. When something hits you emotionally, your mind wants to jump straight into meaning. What does this say about me? Did I mess up? What's going to happen next? Pause. Instead, ask, where do I feel this in my body? Is it tight, heavy, hot, buzzing? Is it moving or stuck? Why this works? You're shifting from interpretation to regulation. Your nervous system calms faster when it's felt, not analyzed.
Tool 2. Build transitions, not just rest. Deep feelers don't just need rest, they need transitions. Before, leaving work, entering social spaces, switching tasks, going to sleep. Create small rituals, a short walk, breath work, music, stretching, silence. Think of it like letting sediment settle in water. You're giving your system time to reset. Tool 3. Reduce input before you try to increase output. If you feel emotionally overloaded, the answer is rarely try harder. It's usually fewer inputs, less stimulation, more simplicity. This might mean fewer social commitments, lower emotional exposure, more intentional media consumption. Depth needs space.
Tool 4. Stop pathologizing your recovery time. You might need more downtime after socializing, longer processing after emotional events, extra sleep after intense days. That's not laziness, that's regulation. Your system works hard. It needs recovery. Part 6. Warnings and caveats. A quick but important note. Emotional depth can overlap with ADHD, anxiety disorders, trauma responses, and high sensitivity, HSP traits. This video is not a diagnosis. If your emotions feel unmanageable, destabilizing, or interfere with daily functioning, professional support matters. This content is about understanding your system, not minimizing distress.
Part 7. Psychological support. A different way to talk to yourself. Let me say this directly. If you feel deeply, you are not too much. You are high capacity. The problem isn't your depth. It's living in a world that doesn't teach you how to hold it. Try this reframe. My nervous system notices more, so I need different care. Depth isn't a flaw. It's a responsibility. I don't need to harden. I need to regulate. You don't win by becoming less sensitive.
You win by becoming skilled with your sensitivity. Closing, turning depth into stability. Let's bring this home. If you feel everything deeply,
your nervous system is highly responsive. Your brain processes emotional data fast and fully. Your body carries experiences longer. That's not a defect, that's a design. But it requires boundaries, regulation, compassion, and environments that support depth instead of punishing it. You're not here to numb yourself. You're here to learn how to hold yourself. Take a breath. You're not broken. You're wired for depth. And with the right understanding, that depth can become grounding instead of overwhelming. I'll see you in the next one.